squad ready for action.
Welcome to a 2v2 on Minsk Pocket. This game is going to be 1st CDN Eagle and 1st CDN Spartan playing as double Americans in the north on Minsk Pocket, so they're already by default in for a rough game, versus a name I cannot say. This one looks Chinese. I'm gonna guess Chinese. And Ice. We've got Armor and Airborne picked right out the gate. Fortifications picked right out the gate. Ice is the only player here who is gonna leave his options open a little bit. Jaeger armor, close air support, lightning war.
That's it. Point's ours.
Early fuel cache. Look at this build. Double assault engineers into a fuel cache. That is going to be rough. I feel like this build almost doesn't make any sense because when you go assault engineers, you really want to have an early manpower advantage over your opponent so that you can have a little extra meat in front of your assault engineers to try and close the distance and trying to engage as cost effectively as you can, get into close range.
They got us zeroed in here. Assault engineers are on the lines and deployable. Get ready for warning order.
And these two squads are going to make their way to the right side, get some strategic points under control. No engagements yet. Battle group headquarters going up in a pretty aggressive location here in the center, and a couple squads moving to take control of the left side.
The command vehicle has converted to a static unity.
And double stern pile opening from this person. Floating manpower a little bit now. I think he wants to go straight into MG34s. This is incredibly risky though. It will give him a little bit of early game firepower, but no range. Not being able to engage at range makes you really weak. Yes, I'm stopping to read the chat. I know. I'm trying to stay focused, but sometimes you guys are just you're just too interesting. I can't turn away. It's like watching the audition episodes of American Idol almost. It's a train wreck. Mod free chat right now. I have no mods. It's just chaos. None of them are up this late. I guess. Stern Pioneers disengaging away from the engagement's gonna make their way over to the battle group headquarters. And this build, by the way, look at this build. He's getting the early retreat point. Double Sturms, battle group headquarters early. This is so risky. I feel like the Allies could punish this so easily. Fortunately, the Oster player getting very aggressive, and the Allies have gone with this weird assault engineer spam on Minsk Pocket. This has got to be the worst map in the game for this. I can't even imagine this working. I have no idea how you could possibly try and do this on Minsk Pocket. I understand that Red Wings kind of pseudo made it work during Star-Crossed Kings on Langerskaya against Lemon's sniper first opening, but in a 2v2 on Minsk Pocket, it's not the same. You don't have that kind of freedom. He needs to try and set up ambushes with those things if at all possible somehow on the flanks. Charging straight down the middle with massed assault engineers is just going to cost him a ton of manpower and accomplish very little.
We're losing a capture point.
Spartan has decided to field riflemen this game, and he has 5 squads of them, wow, here in the early game, so they're not getting any vehicles, and if they don't get any vehicles, they're not going to be able to punish this crazy Over Commando West build. Kind of weird. They went with the early fuel cache, which makes me think early vehicles, but then didn't get any officers. 5 rifle opening here. 3 assault engineer into ambulance opening here. Really confusing stuff. 97, 108 fuel, no officers from either American player yet. And as a result, they cannot punish this, they cannot punish this, and they cannot punish anything. Barely any anti-vehicle on the field at all this game. But the Allies getting pushed completely off the map, can't even hold onto their fuel point right here.
Production upgrade accomplished. We are ready for action.
Grenadiers working on the left side strategic point, and Sternpile is working on the munitions. Sternpile is working on the fuel, throwing down a shoe mine right there. A couple assault engineers making their way forward to engage. I'm timing you out, Queen Ratchet. You're too distracting. I cannot focus. You deserve it. Don't even act all indignant when you come back. NG-34 setting up to fire on the assault engineers right here. And they're falling pretty low. Well, not that squad's falling low. This squad, they all get suppressed. None of them gonna get any flame bursts off. Again, without smoke, making a frontal assault with assault engineers. I don't know what he thinks is gonna happen. No chance at all. Over here on the left side, we're gonna see some sort of an attempt at a flank. If he doesn't research smoke, though, he's not gonna get that far. I feel like I'm looking at a tier 4 structure being built right here by the Allied fuel. This is just really so aggressive. This should be so easy to punish for the Allies, but they still haven't made a vehicle 7 minutes into the game. And pretty quiet, honestly, for a Minsk Pocket game. We need more action. This blob of riflemen needs to spread out. If you don't spread out, you can't take territory. You can't do anything. The fuel is completely in Axis hands right now. 222 on the field is gonna head right to try and break up some fighting positions. I like that play, but he needs to not sit in front of that 50 cal. Sitting in front of a 50 cal is a pretty good way to lose this 222 for no reason. Wow. Nice shot, rear echelon. This is a really impressive rifle grenade right there. These squads making their way across the left side. Gonna catch those two Raketenwerfers way out of position. I like how that Raketenwerfer crew just casually snipes a rifleman. Like, what are the odds of that happening? Here comes a giant blob. This is asking to get suppressed by MG fire. Bit of a hole in the defenses by the Axis, not having any suppressing fire set up for this push. It's moving to respawn now. MG42 sets up to pin down these riflemen at close range. There they all go, all suppressed on the second burst. Stern Pioneers in the retreat path. This could be really bad. I think that squad's going to go down pretty easily. The tier 4 structure is also in their retreat path, and an MG34. We could see some really nasty hits from that flat gun. There's some kills. Fortunately, these trees are actually kind of making it hard for it to hit anything, and they step on a shoe mine on the way home. Assault engineers moving up on the right flank, walk right into the arc of fire of this backwards machine gun and get wiped like instantly. Oh my god, these pushes by the Allies are getting shut down so hard. I appreciate the effort they're making, but the timing is off. The blobbing is so just painful. And no grenades. Where are the grenades? How are you going to turn engagements in your favor with no grenades? Gonna now convert all of his munitions into BARs. Alright, that'll certainly make his next push pretty scary. But the fact that his teammate just lost his entire army's worth of assault engineers certainly doesn't help things.
Boys, you ready to roll out?
And we really need to see a solution fielded to punish this tier 4 aggression. Nothing on the field to punish the fact that there's a tier 4 structure right there. Right in the middle of the map. and those two squads will retreat away from the munitions point.
Squad, on your feet.
And this blob of infantry making its way over to the left side, try and make something happen. I don't really know. I mean, I can just fast forward through the parts where he's just blobbing around the map, I guess. Stern Pilot Squad's gonna get caught out of position. That has to retreat.
Now deployable by air.
MG-34 setting up over here in green cover. It's gonna mow down this infantry force over here. Pathfinders move up. The blob has actually gotten strong enough that it can just focus down machine guns from the front. He really needs to provide some support. I like the decision, by the way, to go in infantry support gun. That's the logical counter to what he's up against right now. Over here on the right side, an AA half-track has been fielded by the American player. Almost manages to take out the 222. So nice play right there, trying to take that thing out. Another rifle squad almost gets wiped when it's forced to retreat through all Axis forces. We're actually going to see the American player splitting up a little. Retreating a few wounded squads as he paradrops himself an AT gun. Maybe try and put some pressure on an Axis truck. See if he's successful or not. We really need the Axis to make a push for the right side and try and get some of this territory under control. The Allies have huge munitions control, which is typical for Minsk Pocket. US forces tend to have good munitions control on this map, but not generally for these reasons. I mean, if I'm being honest, there's barely anything over here to defend. The AA half-track's a serious problem, but the Axis should be able to field some armor of their own soon with their huge fuel control. Holding both fuel points for the entire game, we should start seeing some serious armor on the field any second. ICE has 225 fuel in the bank, still hasn't purchased Battle Phase 2, so he needs to start teching up and get a Panzer IV out or something, unless he really wants to just save for Tigers. But when you have that big of a fuel lead, it's insane not to tech up and capitalize on this fuel lead and use it to take the rest of the map. Tier 4 structure is up, so he's been tagging up. He doesn't have the fuel for a Panther yet. I'm assuming he's going Panther. I feel like Panzer II could have been a good call. Panzer II could easily kill everything here on the right side, what is left, and shut down the American player's ability to build this ridiculous fortress of tank traps everywhere, making it kind of difficult for vehicles to pass through this area where they have been constructed. If he insists on going straight to Panther, though, he will have a pretty powerful tool with which to hunt and kill American ambulances, and of course all American vehicles are vulnerable to the Panther. I don't think going King Tiger is necessarily the greatest idea. I mean, I feel like they're only going to be able to hold on to this fuel for so long. But I don't know, I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. The Blob is mostly just sitting AFK over here on the left side for right now. Still no teching up from ICE, who's getting up to almost 300 fuel soon. Really need to see that happen. We're gonna see a bit of a push for the left, or for the right side. Panzerschrecks actually managed to catch the AA half-track right there. Assault engineers might get wiped again, not quite. Fighting position will get cleaned up by the 222 with supporting Panzerschrecks. Americans completely pushed out of the right side. So we do see some aggression by ICE there to get more territory under control, and he maintains a presence in the center, but he really needs to be more aggressive with his units and try to push his opponent harder. And try to engage and trade, rather than just sitting back and defending, especially in such a passive location when his teammate is working this way up here in the front. So, something to keep in mind. AA half-track receives repairs and moves back to engage over here. Managing to suppress some Axis infantry, though, before forced to retreat. The AA half-track does fall low, and he was thinking about trying to engage with that wounded Panzer Grenadier squad, but changed his mind. It's going to retreat. Anti-tank gun is still available in the area. What is that Jackson doing? Yeah, I think he might catch the scout car. No, hits the ground. AT gun gets a shot off on the Jackson. Scout, I can't believe how deep that Jackson is going right now. That is a ridiculously aggressive maneuver. Meanwhile, here in the center, Jackson moves up to take shots at the Tier 4 structure, bringing it pretty low. Rakettenwerfer is being fielded to counter. Gonna try and push that away. If the infantry support gun gets any miracle hits off, it might help turn the engagement as well. It's going to take 2 Rakettenwerfer shots to destroy that thing. It looks like it's going to get away. Oh, there's the miracle hit from the infantry support gun. Jackson goes down. Got a little bit too exposed. Meanwhile, in this area, Jackson will pull away with almost no health remaining from that anti-tank gun firing on it. Plus, Rakedenwerfer in the building firing on these vehicles will force that to retreat. So, engagement's generally going in favor of the Axis. Squads retreating and reinforcing and healing here in the base. Still no tech, though. 400 fuel! 400 fuel, where are the vehicles? You could get a Panther on the field or something at this point. You could just annihilate everything that the Allies have with their no fuel point for the entire game. Spartan sending all of his forces over here to the left side and giant blob. Blob is trying to reconstitute itself. Paratroopers dropped behind that machine gun to force that retreat towards the battle group headquarters. And these squads are going to be forced to retreat, not able to make anything happen by themselves. If he continues to just walk towards these defenses in a giant blob without utilizing any utilities like smoke or artillery or anything, something, grenades even, not going to accomplish much, which is probably why he's sitting up here on this hill and just hoping for the best for his opponent to come to him. Oh, that infantry support gun hit. Look at the suppression. That is beautiful. That is a beautiful thing. That is a blob counter. That is a blob counter. I'm so happy about that buff, you guys. You have no idea how much more viable that unit seems. I've been playing around with it in my own 1v1s, and I'm so much happier with its performance now. What is this? Come on, are you serious? Really, you're gonna charge a tier 4 structure with that? Man, that is just asking for it. Finally, a tank moves up to absorb the tier 4's fire. There's this 222 is gonna move up to wreak some serious havoc on those assault engineers. Jackson's trying to bring down the structure. Stern Pioneers are being brought to bear to try and push that Jackson away, and this structure has just a sliver of health, but I think it'll survive since that Jackson could not stick around to continue to engage. And it looks like the final nail is in the coffin here. King Tiger making its way up the center.
Bring the gun around. Taking fire. Combat promotion received. Let's go.
Another tank died. I think that was an M10. King Tiger making its way up the left side is going to clear up all of the American team weapons with ease, and all Allied pushes for the center continue to fail. They're going to get wiped, forced retreat. It's pretty much GG right there. Everything wiped. I mean, I think it was GG as soon as the Allies decided they didn't want a fuel point. King Tiger's just gonna obliterate everything. How many kills does it have? It has 18 kills, barely been on the field. It's gonna sweep up a few of the remaining. Okay, there you go. Allies surrendered. So basically, the moral of this, I'd say this replay has two morals for newer players. One, fuel is important. Take the fuel points. Munitions control is the strength of the U.S. forces on this map, but when I say that, I kind of think it's a given that you should have the fuel point right next to your base. Especially in team games. In team games, it's even more important. Obviously. I mean, if ICE had even bothered to spend half of his resources this game, it would have been over even faster. So, something to keep in mind. And the other thing is, you really can't just box select your whole army and walk towards your opponent and expect that to have any measure of success. I mean, I understand that blobbing in some players' minds is like a little too effective, but really, taken to the extreme, it's pretty bad. So, suppression is a thing that exists. Area of effect weapons are a thing. And you need to split your forces. It's pretty much Company of Heroes 101. You can't just smash a blob into your opponent. So, GG. Pretty simple stuff. Axis wins.